Today we're going to harvest honey, finally.
We have the two big hives, one box on each we're taking down.
Yep.
And then we'll see how much honey that is. Shall we guess? I guess 20 kilos in each.
Yeah, I'm going for a total of 30.
30 kilos, so
Yeah.
I'm going for 40.
Yeah. All right, it's
Okay.
on.
Okay, so we are in the bee room, and here we have prepared everything so that it should be like a smooth process. We will come in with the frames in a plastic bucket so that it doesn't drip on the floor and stuff like that. And the first step here is to uncap the frames, which you do with the uncapping tool. You put the frames here and basically you just scrape off the seal on each frame, turn it around, scrape it off. Some honey and stuff will sort of fall down here in this tray. The other big stuff we will scrape off here so that we save the wax that seals the frames, because that wax is actually really good then to reuse later. Susanne boils that and cleans that. When a frame is uncapped, we put it into centrifuge, and then basically we put the lid on, run it, turn the frame around, run it again, and then once we start to get some volume of honey, we open this little valve here. It sort of runs down through the first filters. It's quite sort of big filters, down into the bucket. Then we take the bucket, we put it into the next filtering stage, where there's like two different filters, much finer than the first stuff. And then we get the honey into that big bucket. And very curious to see how much honey we get. Once the bucket is full, it's basically done. Then it is all about stirring the honey and making sure it crystallizes. So we will do that. We will use this honey, which is our neighbor's honey from last year. We will stir that into the new honey. And then in 2 days' time, once it starts to get the right sort of consistency, we'll tap it up on the jars, and that's the ready product.
Okay, so once we've done that, then we're going to take off the wax cap. You can see it's kind of come out here a bit. It's a bit bubbly. So I'm going to try and follow the cap itself rather than the frame in order to keep as much honey as possible. Let's see if that works. So I'm just going to go right under the cap. How cool does that look with all the honey coming out? A bit of resistance, but generally moves through pretty quick, and then we scrape this off into this. As we said, we'll melt that wax down later. How good does this look? All the honey is oozing out now. Trying not to go in too deep here. We want to keep as much of the honey like already oozing down and dripping into the tray there. I've got a bit of a bubble inwards here. So again, trying to get it without dripping too much. End, scrape that off. Every bit of honey that goes in there feels like a mess. Okay, so now we're putting it in. So it's going to go like this. Am I right?
Yep.
Down into the hole over there. And then I guess I just lean it against the wall. Okay.
Cool.
Very good. So as Robert explained in the beginning, in the Nordic countries, you have to make the honey help the honey to crystallize because it crystallizes itself anyway. And if you don't help that crystallization process, it can actually crystallize into very, very big sugar crystals, which makes it a bit harder. Some people like it, but it becomes a bit more like sugar in its consistency. So to keep the honey very creamy, even though it hardens, it remains creamy and a little bit more runny. There's a process in Sweden and other Nordic countries which is called emptying. I'm not sure what the English word is, but basically it's helping the crystallization process. The way you have to do it is to get some old, like last year's honey or a previous honey that's already gone through this crystallization process and mix it in with the new honey. And you have to do that bit by bit. And because this is our first year, we didn't have any of last year's honey to use, so we've used some from our neighbors. So they've also got honey from this area. So we have mixed that now with a new honey, starts a crystallization process. Then you have to put that into a cold area. So it needs to sit there for a couple of days, and we need to keep mixing this, this honey mix that we made to help the crystallization process go quicker. And then when we're finished, then we mix it in with the main batch of honey that we've done. So this is the end of our second day, really, or I guess the first 24 hours. And yeah, you can see it's getting really thick here. It looks so good. So we've been working on our crystallized honey mix now for a few days. It's getting pretty fast, like thick in its consistency, which is what we want, and a bit bubbly. So what we're going to do is we're now going to add twice as much or double what we have in this little bucket with the raw honey, mix that together so we kind of double the amount that we're working with, and then we're going to put that into our main bucket of honey so that all the honey has this mixed through. And to mix it through, we're going to use a big mixing tool on the end of a drill, which we've cleaned. we're done. The total result, 54 jars. I guess if we say they're half a kilo each, that is about 27 kilos. So now we're going to stick on the labels, but we're really, really happy with this end result.